Welcome to the TUBCAST. My name is Eric, and as always, I'm joined by Kyle.
Hello.
And Jeremy.
Hi.
And I got that Kuipers man. He's turning knobs, making things feel good over there.
What?
Tonight's show, we have a lot in store for you. We're going to be talking about giant potatoes, pig brains in the afterlife, and a whole slew of other things that maybe come to mind. You know, you never know. This is a roller coaster ride called life.
Yeah.
And we're on it. We may not have, all of our safety harnesses strapped on securely.
I don't think we ever do.
But
I fell off it once.
you fell off a roller coaster?
No,
Oh.
life.
Oh, life. Okay.
I thought you actually fell off a roller coaster. That was going to be a good story.
I made the stupid decision to try to spit off of a roller coaster.
Did that work?
No, it was a corkscrew. And so,
the spit?
the name of the roller coaster.
Oh, the coaster. Okay.
And it had, a corkscrew like rotation,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
Where you rotated like this. And I thought, well, if I'm upside down, it's just going to go down, right?
The spit, because that's how gravity works.
Yeah.
Was this like 2 years ago?
Well, it doesn't work that well with centrifugal force, gravity. It kind of, they fight each other. Well, actually, they work together, centrifugal force. Anyway. But no,
It's more like G force, though,
That
isn't
didn't
it, at
work
that
well.
point?
G-force.
Like spit, like
Yeah.
I mean,
What is
centrifugal
G-force?
force is
Gravitational
like,
force?
because
Like where
centrifugal is
it
when
holds
it's spinning
it in
'cause
place because of the spinning.
But I think your spit coming back in your face might be the G.
That's your. I
force.
think you're right.
I think.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but
So it hit you
Which
in
is
the face.
gravitational force.
I'm not a
That's
scientist.
That's what G's force stands for. So
I
gravity.
believe so.
Yeah.
gravitas.
Your gravitational
Gravitas. No, that's what
forces.
happens when you don't pass out at high G force, right? You have gravitas.
No, I don't. That
I
does
think-
not sound right.
Gravitas is when you are, have a lot of friends at the opera.
Oh,
I don't think either of those sound right.
it's not having a large presence.
The dictionary defines it as dignity, seriousness, or solemnity.
Dignity. See, I just said
Solemnity of manner.
having lots of friends at the opera. That's what dignity is to me.
How is that dignity?
I haven't,
Because dignitaries go to the opera.
I
Duh.
guess. I have never.
Oh yeah, that checks out. That checks out.
I mean, if we really want to talk about dignity, that's really all humans desire. I mean, at the end of the day, we just desire dignity. Not really. Actually, you don't desire it. You need it. You need basic human dignity. To
I
survive.
desire cheese.
Yeah.
The problem is we tend
I
not to give
need
it to
dignity.
others.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you
Right?
need to give it out, but we don't freely give it. We
No,
just
because we want other people to give it to us.
we want successful people to have
Yeah.
the dignity.
We don't give it out
They
because we
deserve it.
want to feel better than other people.
That's true. That's true. Sorry, the figures.
But
were
Kyle,
odd for
you'd
it.
feel better if you gave it out more often.
Well, no, I understand that. I'm not arguing that. I'm saying as a whole,
Yeah.
that would be the reason that people don't give out dignity because they want to feel better about themselves.
Yeah. People suck.
And if they're not getting the dignity that they deserve, then why give it out to somebody else?
Yeah, that's like. I mean, not to get too down or
Hashtag real talks.
But that the whole story of the boy that got thrown off the top floor of the Mall of
Yeah.
America. That guy.
Wait, what?
You didn't hear about that?
No.
What?
So
How did you not hear about
I don't know.
There was this.
Are you on Facebook? Because
When
Yeah.
was this?
Like a couple weeks ago, this kid, he was 5 years old, and some random dude walks up and just throws him off the third balcony level of the thing.
some
It was-
random dude who's had other violent.
Well, they said he was
escapades at the
throwing.
mall.
He got banned because he was throwing things off there,
Yeah.
just random objects.
Yeah.
Just
So-
yeeting all over the place.
So
huh?
so this kid's like, I mean, they said
Third
he's like
floor.
starting to maybe recover, possibly. I don't know. There are early signs of recovery, but he
Jeez.
somehow he survived it. And I mean, they had like a $500,000 goal on their GoFundMe, and I last I had seen it was like well over 800,000. But anyways, this guy,
Well, he's gonna need it,
The
so.
guy's excuse for doing it was, "Oh, I was just tired of these women turning me down at the mall, and I just was looking for someone to kill." That's his. That was
Because I
his,
couldn't get any babes,
that was
man.
his, that was his
And he went
motivation.
after a 5-year-old.
Like,
Good
what in the
grief.
world? Like, it's weird. Like there's like all these levels there of like we talk about dignity, but then there's also like the sense of wow, my brain just like snapped into
morality.
Not just morality, but of what's the thing that they say millennials want or the entitlement or have.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
it's that sense of entitlement that it's like I deserve the attention of these women that I'm harassing in the mall.
Yeah, and this other person doesn't deserve to live because of that.
Because I'm not getting what I think I deserve.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like so. And that's like the excuse I would give for like as a teenager for like punching a hole in the wall, right?
Right.
You'd be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I can't get these women to respect me. Nobody likes me. I'm such a nice guy. Nobody likes me. I'm so nice. Nobody likes nice guys."
I will say it's not
Punch
only
a hole in the
teenagers
wall.
who punch holes in walls.
Yeah, I know, but that seems like a teenager type behavior.
Yeah,
That's
there's.
an immature behavior.
That's what
yeah.
I meant.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a teenager and you do it, it's something that. You know, okay, you're going to grow from it. If you're an adult that's punching holes in walls,
You
there's an
obviously
entirely
didn't
different
grow up.
issue that's going on there.
Exactly.
Jolliver says, "Why don't you want others to feel good, Kyle?" I wasn't saying that. I'm saying
Yeah.
as a whole, humanity just does not want to share
Misery
dignity.
loves company.
I think Jolliver's onto something. We really need to talk about this, Kyle.
It's true.
What is
Okay.
your problem?
I don't want anyone to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
Please don't be happy.
All right, good. There you go. He finally admitted it. No, it's it's a weird life that we all live.
Yeah.
But there are justifications that we make that are just sometimes bizarre. I mean, I think we all do it to certain levels, right?
Oh,
like,
I'm sure we
right.
justify all kinds of things with
like-
dumb justifications.
Yeah, like
I'm angry. I'm gonna go drink more.
I'm gonna eat more because
Eat
I'm
more.
sad.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy myself an electronic device to feel better.
What kind of electronic device?
Yeah.
I don't
Kyle?
know.
Yeah.
I mean, not like that.
wanna
Like
get-
a
Well,
new.
Not like what? I don't. I wasn't even insinuating.
I don't know what you were insinuating.
I want to get a new monitor. I was
See, there you go. A new monitor.
I was looking at
baby.
34-inch curved monitors. I really want one.
Oh, nice. You should get one.
Curved
Yeah.
monitors.
Should get one.
Why are you feeling down and needing to
No,
get
I'm
that?
not. I just feel like I deserve it.
Okay.
Because he's alive.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's a,
He's like, I've lived this long to deserve
Right.
curved monitor.
Right.
right.
I figured today was a bad day to do it though, because it is my oldest daughter's 16th birthday today.
And you're down here with us.
I know, right?
She's probably got like friends and stuff.
She now has a car and a driver's license.
I was gonna say,
she doesn't
judging-
want anything to do with
Judging
me,
by what I
okay?
saw she got for her birthday, she's probably
Yeah.
not anywhere near here at the moment.
She her mother took her to get her license right after school, and she came
Today?
home. Yeah, and she came home and dropped off her mother,
That's so
and
funny.
then she went.
It's
to
terrifying, but it's
to
funny.
Yeah, to go shopping with a friend and all kinds of.
It's
stuff.
it's
boy.
that's
With
I mean,
our money. That was the other part. It was like, hey, can you give me some money so we can get something to eat when we're out?
It
I'm like,
scares me
"Get a
that-
job again.
that my daughter's only about 6 years away from having a driver's license herself, and
Yeah.
that's frightening to me.
It's very frightening.
I don't want to
So-
feel that, but I guess you feel it. So congratulations are in order.
It's 2 more years, right? That's what it means.
Yeah.
Until they then live with me for another 8, right? 26. That's when millennials move out, right?
I don't know.
something
Or
like
wait,
that.
she's not millennial. She's
Yeah,
below
she's
that.
Z. Is she Gen Z
Yeah.
or is she even younger than
I
that?
don't know.
I don't
know
think
how that
I don't think
works.
all millennials live with their parents in that way that they want you to
That's
believe.
probably true.
I mean, Kyle's a millennial. Do you
Yeah.
live with your parents?
No.
Kuipers, do you live with your parents?
Nope.
Oh, there we go.
I haven't lived with my
but
parents
when
since.
did Kuipers move out?
Hey, he's a lot younger than the rest of us.
That is also true.
I am a young millennial at that. So
Kuipers,
Yeah.
did you move out before you were 26?
yes, I did.
See, there,
There you
Jeremy.
go.
Kuipers,
Proven.
How long had you been out of school?
How long have I been out of school?
Yeah.
Year.
When you
Okay,
Like
so
pretty
that,
much
I mean,
years. Yeah.
that doesn't seem
Hey,
like that's
Eric.
terrible, especially if you went to school in the same town that your parents
Yep, pretty much.
live.
Eric, when did you move out of your parents' house?
Let's see. I was 18 in February.
It was
of 20
1914.
of 20
Yeah.
and I moved out and was married by July of 2000.
Well, you got me beat there.
so-
I was 18 in July of 19
1900?
No,
it
was in the 1900s.
I was odd as zero, isn't it? I think an
I
odd
don't
is a
know.
zero.
Whatever.
Yeah, it was 1900.
97.
Okay. Jeremy is a vampire who has lived
Well, I'm
a
just
long
saying,
life.
It wasn't the 2000s. It was pre-2000s.
That's why he always looks so tired when we're at Comic-Con, because he's out in like the daytime and he just doesn't know how to deal with that.
A month later, I moved out of state.
Oh, okay.
When you were
18.
I packed up my 82 Ford Tempo.
Well, then you moved out sooner than I did.
Yeah.
You just I thought you were like, I had you beat, and I was like, no.
No, because you got married.
Oh, okay.
As well.
Yeah, I got married.
I just went to college
and moved out.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're
Yeah.
like, I need to live with someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, doing that is the best decision of my life. I was thinking about that today. I was talking to my kids, trying to get them to brush their teeth, and I was talking about plaque buildup and stuff, and I'm like, my wife, like, she beat me over the head with like dental hygiene, like, because I was not really a clean person. I think, like,
she's like, if I'm kissing that mouth,
and it's like it took me a few years to get used to it, but like I look back now and I'm just like, ew, what was wrong with me? Like, that's gross that it took me that long to like get the idea that I need to brush my teeth every day. But you get married young and you're just like, I mean, so there's just like little practical things where, you know, it worked out for me. I'm not suggesting it for everybody, but you know, sometimes it's okay.
Sometimes you learn how to brush your teeth because you get married.
That's
at 18.
what it took. Okay. That's what it took.
That's the moral of the story here.
I got my ears pierced and I learned how to brush my teeth.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
I'm trying to think. Technically, I guess I kind of moved out like right middle of college because that was when I started living here during the summer.
Yeah.
I was still technically on campus. I guess if you really want to
Universidad.
Yeah, I guess if you really want to get down to like when did I actually move all of the stuff out of my parents' house, it was this weekend. No, I mean, it was one of those
You did
things.
it, Kyle.
So it was one of those things that like my parents moved, like one of my sisters moved into my room almost immediately after I graduated, or after I graduated high school. And so then they moved all my stuff down into the basement, but then when my brother got married, the basement itself had like a separate entrance and everything because it had kind of been built as a duplex.
Yeah.
So my brother moved in there when he got married. And so all of my stuff kind of disappeared into a couple of boxes in the garage. I never like really cared about any of the stuff that was in there. So I didn't even go looking for it. And my parents are moving in the next like month or something. So we were up there for Easter this weekend and they were like, hey, we need you to go through this stuff because we don't want to throw it out, but we are not taking it with us. So you need to go through these boxes. And there was a whole lot of stuff that just was instantly like, oh, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care.
Then you're like, oh, there's that. I still don't care.
Yeah. So
but I'm glad I got to see it.
Yeah,
one
it
more
was
time.
weird because I ended up out of like the 8 like paper. What are those, like the
filing boxes?
No, like the boxes that you see at work when they bring in the paper delivery. There was like 8 or so of them. I ended up with one of a lot of stuff that I was like, I don't really know if I want this, but I don't really know that I want to throw this out yet. So it'll probably just stay with me until I move out of my house, and then I'm like, I don't need this, and toss it. But I did find a couple of gems. I found my very first Game Boy. Which was like the
that, right?
old, yeah, oh yeah,
Oh man,
oh yeah,
I was gonna say.
the old chunky
Yeah.
Game Boy, and it's like the see-through one, so you could see all the guts and everything in it.
Oh, that's fancy.
And then I found our Dreamcast that we'd had,
Holy
and
crap.
yeah, I don't have any
goodies there.
controllers or any games for it, but I
What?
think I have the cords.
eBay.
I don't know what happened.
eBay.
Yeah, I was gonna say
also need an old CRT TV.
gamers. I could go to gamers. I don't think you need an old CRTV.
Isn't Gamers gone, Kyle?
There's no gamers is open.
I thought they all closed.
They just like
someone buy it?
reopened them like around Thanksgiving.
New owner or something?
Yeah, there's at least one in town.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I thought
so
they went out of business completely.
check it out.
Cool.
But yeah, so I was like, maybe I'll go check and see if there's anything there, and maybe fire up
man.
the old Dreamcast.
You got to pick
I
up
have
Ready
an
to
Atari
Rumble.
controller here for you.
That won't
The
work
rest of
with
the
it.
Atari's in a box.
You
over
got to
there.
pick up Ready to Rumble. This is a great
Okay.
boxing game.
Ready to Rumble.
You got to pick up NFL 2K. the best football game ever made.
I think we had either that one or 2K1.
Yeah, whatever. Those two.
Tecmo Bowl
yeah.
is probably.
Oh
better.
man, I
I'm
think
just saying.
2K is like
2K was
they
fantastic.
Are like the best football games. They're so much
Right.
fun to play. And then you got to get. I mean, this one's controversial, but I really like the Sonic Adventures game on there. That one.
I had that one. That game was great.
because you could put the little
little-
memory unit, the
yeah.
VMU, the visual memory unit.
I could
in there.
never get those eggs to grow or do anything.
What? Really?
I could never figure it out,
I
and that
love-
was back when I'd have to go and wait for an hour for the internet to load.
I'd carry it around in my pocket and pull it out, and it had a little control. It had like a little D-pad, and
Yeah,
a couple
it
buttons
was
on it.
It was
and-
awesome. Like you could manage your save files on that. That was such a cool,
Yeah.
bizarre little thing that Dreamcast had.
And then
So-
I'm trying to think of any other great games for the Dreamcast.
Yeah, we didn't.
that-
We really just had like the sports games, the Sonic one. I don't really know if we had much else
Resident
with it.
Evil Code Veronica originally came out on that.
There-
That was really good.
There was a Resident Evil game that I'd picked up used, and then
That would have been Code Veronica probably because I think that might have been the only one.
it was either that or did they not release any other ones on there?
Maybe they did. I don't remember
Okay.
completely. I just remember that.
It
was
might
like,
have been that one. And then I think we had Crazy
Claire Red.
Taxi.
Oh yes,
Crazy
that's the
Taxi.
one.
Oh,
that
that
one you
game's
gotta have
awesome.
that.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't hold up really well. Like when you download the phone version,
Sure.
you play it again, you're like,
But playing it on a Dreamcast would probably feel pretty sweet.
yeah, I probably would, just because that controller was pretty good too.
Yeah.
Like, it was one of the first. It was like kind of like the Xbox controller if you think
Right.
about it, the way it was set up.
I think we also had some BMX game.
Man, the Dreamcast. It's weird that I feel like Sega went out on such a good console. Like you would expect it to be like a bad console. Like, oh, this was garbage.
Yeah, and it just
wanted-
didn't sell, and so they were like,
it was the PlayStation 2 that just like
right,
destroyed it.
But I mean, like
So-
they just kind of pulled the plug super
Yeah, they
quick
did.
on
They
it.
did.
That I think if maybe they had not been so quick to say, "Hey, we're not making enough money right now," maybe it could have.
But it
found its
it
place.
Ended Sega as a console manufacturer. Like that's when they just went third party and started making games for other consoles.
Nintendo owns them now, right? Didn't they buy them?
Yeah.
I think they
something
bought
like that,
out
yeah.
all their old stuff.
Yeah, well, they still make like the Mario and Sonic
Right.
Olympic games and stuff like that, which are weird. But, anyways, that's neither here nor there. It's over. We can't
Yeah.
change the past, Kyle.
We can't change the
But that's
past,
two
but
really
we can
good-
go and find
can live in
things
it.
to maybe play the games.
Yeah, we could live in it, Jeremy. That's a good point. Those were two really good finds, though.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with it. And then I found so there's a guy at work that has made some kind of crazy claims about Will Smith and that he thinks that he's the greatest hip hop artist ever to grace
You
the
mentioned
planet.
this before briefly, right? Like this has come up before on the show.
It either I don't know if it has on the show or if it was just something that we talked
Okay.
about afterwards. But going to the extent that he said that Wild Wild West was one of the greatest sci-fi movies / Western movies ever
wow.
made. And so I found this weekend. I don't know if you remember it or not. They sold Wild Wild West sunglasses at Burger King. They sold
I don't
them.
remember this.
It was like those
I blocked it
those terrible little tiny glasses.
Oh, I saw you wearing those.
Yeah,
Did you tweet
I think
that,
I think I put it on. I tweeted it or something.
yeah.
They're horrible. The commercial
They're-
I went and found the commercial for them. It was
real
even
bad.
worse. They're real bad. Maybe Kuipers can find an image there for you.
Yeah,
but
I'm working on it.
I was like, hey, I know how much of a Will Smith fan you are and how much you love the Wild Wild West.
did you give
I
him
handed
some?
it to him and he was like, what are these? He was like wearing them underneath his glasses
Yeah.
at work. He's like, I think I'm going to start wearing these all the time. I was like, you probably aren't, but it looks they
He
were.
didn't even know what they were.
At first he was like, what? But like this picture doesn't even hardly do it justice because those things are like just barely bigger than the size of your eyes on your face.
Did you still have the case?
I
for
did
them?
not.
Oh, okay.
No. So, but they were like $1.99, I think, if you purchased one of their special rodeo burger meals or whatever.
Was that the wait? Is that potentially the best thing to have come from Wild Wild West?
I think it might have been.
That I didn't realize that came from that.
Is that
movie.
what was that like a cross promotion? Or did they have
I
the
think
rodeo
so.
before that? Because if that,
Because it's a hidden menu.
That's
Is
the-
it even on the menu?
you can still order, but it's not.
Yeah, it's not on the menu. You have, but you
and
can
it's
order
like
it.
I haven't been to a Burger King, and
That's what I order. Like
I can't
all
even-
the time.
It's been
if
at
I
least,
go there.
It's maybe been 2 years since I've been to a Burger King, but I just that's what I would get. That's the thing, and like I feel like one of the only good things on their menu. But that is like a really good consequence of that terrible movie, possibly one of the worst movies of all time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry to disagree with your friend.
Oh, I mean, we've all disagreed with him openly about it at work.
There's
So
some other bad Will Smith movies.
No, I'm just saying possibly the worst movie of all time.
Oh, of all
Like,
time.
not just Will
Okay,
Smith.
all right.
Right.
I'm just-
That's impressive.
Right.
yeah. I mean, it's yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Will Smith looked all right in those sunglasses, I guess, but anyone else?
I mean, how much sun protection did they give?
oh, none.
There's
That-
a reason he has a hat as well.
Yeah.
that's something.
Yeah.
So, Jeremy, you had to get your daughter a car for her birthday.
I mean, had to, right?
You
That's-
had to,
that's
or else
what
she was
my
going
wife
to
said.
divorce you as what is that called?
As a parent?
Emancipation. Is that what she was gonna
Divorce
do?
you as a parent? Is
Yeah,
that
that's a thing.
Okay.
You can emancipate.
Yeah.
If you're-
Actually, it's
Yeah, but is it called
she totally
divorcing
could.
from your parents?
No,
Yeah.
it's emancipation.
It's
That's what he just said.
divorceation.
I know that's what he's.
That's what I said. It's a
I
divorce.
was playing your favorite game, Jeremy, where we argue about what the word actually means.
He used both words and explained that one was different than the other.
Jeremy's got a point.
I mean,
You can't use it
There's
in
no
that
winning
scenario.
with Jeremy.
Hey, look, we're playing that game now.
Even when we're trying to play the game, he's like, no, you're not playing it right. He's used one of them kind of right and the other one
you
wrong.
said it wrong doesn't mean Eric said it wrong.
But it's true that as a 16 years old, a
Yeah.
child should emancipate if their parents don't get them a vehicle.
Right.
well,
You know what?
could be a stretch.
I bought
my
mine.
own.
I bought my own too.
Then
so.
my, but then my
technically
mom
my-
took it from me and gave it to my brother.
What?
Wait,
Yeah,
hang on.
did you not know that story?
No,
Did
that's a
you
news
did
story.
you actually buy it?
Yes.
Or okay.
No. So it was the same car I ended up taking to college, 1982 Ford Tempo, and
Sounds nice.
I bought it from a elderly lady in town
Okay.
who said it wasn't running anymore, and so I bought it. And my dad and I looked at it,
As you would.
and we realized that it had a blown head gasket, and we had to replace the engine.
Oh wow, that's a cheap
So-
little fix. There.
So I bought it. I bought it for $150. The
You
car.
bought the car for $150.
And then for $600, my dad and I put a used engine that we pulled out of a junkyard. Into
Okay.
It. And then I owned it for the next 3.5 years.
yeah,
And
Then your mom
However, so it took me about. I bought it when I turned 16 with money from working, and I had a full-time job actually at 16 as well, and worked through school, but it was right before school was starting, my junior year, because I turned 16 between my sophomore and junior year,
Mm-hmm.
as some people do. And,
some people do.
and-
Some people.
and my brother was going to college.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom decided that he needed to have my car more than I did. The car's in my name. I'm paying insurance on it. It's 100% mine. And she forces me to give him the keys to my brother so he can take it to college.
Oh.
And he ended up having it for about 6 months before I got it back.
Oh,
Yeah.
Awesome.
that's really awkward.
Yeah, it was really awkward. Yeah.
I'm
'Cause
sorry.
I was gonna say,
It's a
like,
scar on my soul, really.
I'm really sorry about
So
that.
maybe I should have emancipated. Maybe I did
you
this
really
wrong.
should have.
But isn't it crazy to think like I feel like it was like an expectation for me growing up, and I think probably for you too, like to get a vehicle, like that's your deal. Like you figure it out, or we'll help you.
Oh,
maybe
it actually was.
Right.
like
Yeah,
your dad,
absolutely.
like
Yeah.
so like your
He's
dad.
like, I'll help you work on an old
Your dad helped you
junker,
work on
but-
it, like
Yeah, but
like
you're paying for it all.
Like when I got the car, like I will say I probably had it a little easier than some people because my brother owned a car lot. He owned
Sure.
a car dealership, and so I worked it out with because my dad was working there at the time. So it's like they worked it out to where I could work off a car, pretty much.
That's
like
cool.
one of the.
Yeah.
It was like a $2,000 car, but I worked it off.
Yeah.
Nice.
And 1986 Honda Prelude. It was nice.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is like it's still like it was never an assumption that my parents were going to get me a vehicle.
No.
Like,
Yeah, I didn't have that either.
That's not.
But I'm guessing your kids will have that assumption.
Oh, I'm sure. You know what I mean?
But you know what though? That's actually
That's-
I look at it like I think earlier today I was talking with a coworker and I was like, I mean, in some way that's a good thing because you want to try to make it better for your kids than.
But I think the difference
maybe
is,
you know what I mean?
Like it wasn't an expectation of ours because it wasn't a freaking option.
That's what
That-
exactly.
there was no money there.
There was just
Like-
it was not going to happen.
Yeah, that's not like you are like growing up the way that I mean, I'm not saying we had the same life, but we had the same probably like close to similar income brackets.
Yeah,
growing up.
probably. I mean, I can tell you what my dad made at that time, and it's what I make in 3 months. So, and that's not saying. I mean, that is saying a lot because
Yeah.
he had a family of 4 kids.
But it's one of those
And it
things
was
where
in the 80s and 90s, but
that it just wasn't an expectation. So it's
Yeah.
like all like you hear that story of like Bill Gates saying he's not giving his kids any of his money, pretty much.
Right.
And it's just like, but even still, like the average person, like in a
he may
in
not
a
be,
middle,
but they're going to have opportunity.
Yeah, but I'm just,
right.
But I'm just saying, like a middle class, like even family, can still afford to get a used vehicle. Where like that was just not a reality,
Right.
It's
Oh,
like-
exactly.
so it's just I don't know.
Right.
Anyways.
No, I mean I guess technically my dad bought mine, but it was with the expectation that you are getting a job, I am covering your insurance, you are paying for your gas, and you are paying me back for the vehicle. And I was paying him. It was like $1,500, so it was basically like I got my first loan from my dad of $1,500. He bought the car outright.
That's why you had to have that
And
knee
then-
surgery after he broke your knee.
Right.
for
Yeah,
not
because
paying
I
your-
was
I will say
not paying my
to,
loans.
to give my daughter significant credit. She had a job up until a couple of months ago. She quit it for different reasons. We told her it was okay. She's going to get another one this summer. But in fast food, she worked in fast food, and she ended up saving up $900. That was her. That's
Yeah.
what she paid towards the car.
Yeah.
So it's not like I bought the car 100% for her.
Sure.
But she paid a pretty good chunk of change for it. So.
Yeah.
Which is impressive, I think, for
Yeah.
at 16. So
It's just one of those things, It's
and it was
different-
more than I paid for my car, so she had more
Yeah.
money saved up than I did at 16.
I mean, there you go.
So
Yeah.
So you got the car, everything's good, and it was.
It
smooth.
runs.
yeah,
Everything's
yeah.
happy.
It's
Everybody's-
a 2006 Ford Escape
from the Zen.
from the Zen car dealership.
That's a
Yeah.
great.
Nice.
It's a nice.
So.
Was it very relaxing?
Oh my goodness! So they
Wait, it was a
They actually
2006,
say
you
they're
said?
yeah.
That's nice. That's
That's
the
newer
year
than
of
my car.
That's the exact year of my car.
That's it. Mine's a 2005.
There you go. Go to the Zen dealership. I don't know.
I guess.
So this is one of those little dealerships.
Can I borrow your daughter's car?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Why not? They only had like 20 or so cars in the lot, and everything was between like $4,000 and $9,000.
Yeah.
But they had like a couple of small sedans, a couple of large sedans, like one or two luxury sedans, if you will, but they were older, and like 2 or 3 SUVs and 1 or 2 pickups. They literally said like their whole thing was we're buying of a specific type, like budget for people. And you walk in, you go to the lot. You know how you go to like pretty much any car lot, and you pull in the lot, and you know someone's running to your car,
it's
right?
a nightmare.
You get out of your car, and they're already there waiting, waiting for you. If you don't
That's
get out
not
of your
very
car,
zen, man.
If you don't get out of the car, they're following your car, like
Yeah.
knocking on your window, right?
No, it's terrible. Everyone hates it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all agree it's the worst.
So we pull into this place to look at a different vehicle, a little Nissan Sonata or so whatever that's called, Hyundai Sonata. So we pull in and we get out. We pull right up to the front door of their office, and it's just like it looks like it used to be a small auto mechanic shop. So it had like 2 garage bays and then an office space, right? And then the lot. And so we pull in, and we'd been looking at cars online, and so we found one, and she wanted to look at the one that was there, so we did. And we're walking around looking at cars, and we're like at third or fourth car that we've kind of walked around and looked at, and my daughter looks at me and she goes, how come they haven't attacked us yet? Like, even my daughter, never been on a car lot except for maybe with us when we bought a car in the past.
Yeah.
And she just knew, like, I thought we were going to get attacked.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, well, let's, you want to test drive this one. Let's go inside and see what's going on.
Is this like a really long, drawn out, like promotional?
I don't know.
You're like getting
I will
This
say- I
episode
will
is
say
brought
they
to
were
you
a great
by
place to
Zen
buy-
Auto.
Well, yeah, that's not their name, but
Zen Car Dealership.
But you go inside, and they've got this widescreen TV when you first walk in, and it's like playing a looped video of a rainfall, of like a waterfall. Mm-hmm. And
Zenny.
on the left-hand side, the entire wall is carpeted in fake grass.
This sounds awful so far.
And there's like 2 desks on the other side, and it's very minimalist other than that. And the guy just sits behind the desk and says, hi, may I help you? Like, just super, like, I thought he was maybe high or something, and he may have been. But he was super
it's a
chill.
prerequisite of that
He was
job.
super chill the whole time. And everything was done on tablets. Like, oh, you'd like to check out a car? Okay, here, fill out this form.
Kyle,
on the
why are you
tablet.
looking at a Ferrari?
You're
right
looking
now?
at the actual
the
dealership.
dealership.
You looked it up.
Oh, they have a Ferrari for sale.
I don't think so. I think they just put it in front
You
of the
said it was.
dealership.
I thought it was. Oh, Zen isn't the actual name
No,
of the
no,
dealership.
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
They literally have on their wall Zen philosophy, and then like their different philosophy points about how
Sounds like some fly-by-night
the price
hippies.
is the price, and they.
There's the grass on the wall.
Yeah, it was just
so, anyways, it was
totally
good,
different experience.
It was a good car
I-
buying experience.
I would go back there and buy a car again.
because like I went.
Do we know it's not a lemon?
I bought a.
It doesn't feel like they gave me full history on the car from when it was like off the plant in Texas to it was one car owner, someone in Illinois, and like all of the
That's Carfax.
all of the
that's
but,
common.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times they don't just give that to you. You got to ask for it.
I mean, a good
Like,
dealership.
they-
Good dealerships
well, yeah.
are gonna.
They pulled it up. They walked me through everything.
Yeah.
It was just like I said. It was like super late, and then they're just like, "Sure, here's the keys."
Yeah, that's cool.
You know,
We got a vehicle for my wife from the internet car lot, and that was a similar, just like, and I think CarMax is another place that's like a national
Same kinda- yeah,
It's
they're
just
kinda
like
the same
low,
way.
low,
Low
pressure,
stress, low pressure.
yeah, like it just, but yeah, I don't know, it's car buying can always be stressful, and I mean now, like I just want a Tesla, and that can just
Right.
be done on their website, and I can
Right?
use Apple Pay. If
Exactly.
only I had that much
Isn't
money
that hilarious?
in
Right.
my bank account to use Apple Pay. That's how low pressure. And then they just
If you
deliver
wanna
it to your door.
If you want to sponsor the TUBCAST here, help us buy a Tesla. We'll just make that our new studio.
That'll-
Yeah.
in the-
But I'll
It'll
say
be a
it-
shared commune.
By the time we decided that was the car we're getting, it took us maybe 20 minutes to pay for it and fill out the paperwork. I mean,
That's
it was
impressive.
like done, and
That's
we were
really
out
fast.
of there. Yeah,
That's
So,
nice. The car dealership experience is never
It's
fun.
never Zen.
You always feel like you're getting lied to or something,
Right.
especially when it's used.
Midnight Angel, welcome to the chat. They said, I wish I could buy mine one. Talking about cars, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't we all?
It's expensive.
I wish I could buy me one.
No, I think she meant her child.
I know, but I wish I could buy me a newer car.
Kyle, you know what? Just get in crippling debt, and
I
it's
probably could.
and it just feels great.
Probably could. Yeah.
I've heard great things.
I've heard. Yeah. I mean, the
I
term
haven't.
crippling just sounds great.
It's
Sounds
wonderful.
amazing. I think
I mean, at what point is it crippling?
I don't
you
know. I don't know.
mean,
I mean, speaking of the car of your dreams, I've been playing Dreams on the PlayStation 4, and have you guys heard of this game?
no.
I think I heard of it a while back, but I haven't.
It's an early access. It's an early access PlayStation 4 kind of build your own game.
Oh, so you like actually
So-
design a game?
Yeah, so you can go in and look at other stuff that people have made, and you can. And what's really impressive is how fast these other games that people have made load. Like you just hit play and you're playing this game.
So it's a sandbox builder.
So it's just this. It's like a big, huge, incredibly dense tool from the Media Molecule, who made Little Big Planet, and it's pretty much like you just go in there and they give you all these tools and you can build a game. Like it can be 3D, it can be 2D, it can be however.
Wow.
It's got a like sound design built into it, to where you can record your own music into it, or you can compose music with it. You can
wow.
you can add sound effects. You can just do it is crazy. And I played a lot of different like little games that people have made, and the thing is, they do feel like some of them felt all right, but a lot of them just felt kind of floaty and like almost like, oh, this is like a really indie game. Like it feels really kind of cheap in a way that's not fun, but it's still the toolbox is there. I think as people start to get used to it and it gets better, like it's really, really interesting.
Didn't Xbox have one that was supposed to be like that
They
was like
tried.
out near launch
Yeah,
and didn't?
Xbox One. I can't remember what it was called.
I'm trying to
now,
remember what
but
it was called too. I tried googling it.
It was
I can't
much
find
more like utilitarian. Like
here's X amount of things that you can build or do.
It's like, hey, have you ever heard of Maya? Like we could do that. But like
Yeah.
this just is much more user friendly. Like you can use the controller or you can use the motion controllers if you want, but even just the regular PlayStation controller has motion in it, so you can just like use it almost like a cursor. You tilt it and you have this little imp that's on the screen and it floats around the screen and you can use it to manipulate what you see and turn things and whatever. But I expected a bigger variety of stuff out there that people are making, and maybe it's just a little early because
You said it's early access, right?
yeah, and so like I found like a Mario 1, original Mario copy. I put that like a video of
saw
that
you
on
tweet
Twitter.
that, yeah.
And so stuff like that, and it's cool that they can do it, but it's not. I don't think the reason you want to go to this game, but
Garbear, welcome back to the chat.
Hey.
it's been a while.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, that's Dreams.
Project Spark.
That's
That
what
was
it
the name of
called.
the game.
Yeah, I played a little bit of it.
I
It-
played
did
some
too.
of that.
yeah, it was just not great.
That was back when there wasn't as much on the Xbox One,
Yeah, back in those days of the drought,
like the early days.
the depression of Xbox One.
Plus,
and-
it was free. I think.
Has anybody been playing Mortal Kombat
No,
11? Kuipers?
I haven't.
Kuipers, you over there?
Nope,
You,
I've-
no, okay.
I mean, I've been playing Smash, but
Well, of course you have. No,
He's
that's-
like, there's
this
Mortal
is-
Kombat
this-
players in it.
This is like big boy Smash Brothers. Okay, Kuipers?
is it though?
It's like the
big boy.
original.
Is it, though?
It's like the
big-
original,
it's
right?
Big boy. No, it's. I mean, it is like a great, almost homage to all of the Mortal Kombat games, and like the fatalities are just as gruesome as ever.
Sure.
It's got this crazy. If you play through the story, it's got this kind of terrible time traveling storyline.
Yeah,
that
it's
is
like-
convoluted and not. It's only good because it's so terrible. I think maybe, but the game's great. It plays really well if you like fighting games. It's really good. It's fun to show if you have small children who like violence. It's really good. No,
I mean, you know,
but no,
why
it's really fun. I think that they've simplified they've just kind of mainstreamed some of the controls, so it's like a lot easier to pull off the fatalities, and they've added like different game modes in it, and I mean there are kind of the loot box trappings and some of that stuff that you just have come to expect in modern games. But anyways, it's cool if you like that. I've also been playing Astroneer, which is on it's PC, and I think it's on Xbox in early access, but it's kind of a space exploration meets survival so it's I don't know, I don't even know for sure what if it's a little bit No Man's Sky in a way, but I don't even know it's one of those games where that you don't really have a goal in mind. You're just like, oh, I got to get this resource to do this thing and get this to do this, and then you just it just becomes the snowball effect
Sure.
of like almost like a Minecraft or a No Man's Sky where you're building up your base. And it's really well done though. Like the art style is very bright and shiny and pretty, and it's been out for a while. It was in early access for a long time, and now it's like fully released. So it's called Astroneer.
Yeah,
Kuipers
Steam and
is putting
Xbox.
a picture of it. It just has this really great art style.
Oh yeah, I
It's-
think I remember seeing
yeah.
something about that. So it's kind of it's kind of got some of
Wow,
the
that's very kind of No Man's Sky E.
Yeah, almost to like a more
but like a little more cartoony.
like No Man's Sky is like sci-fi comic book, where this is much more like sci-fi cartoon. Like if
Yeah,
that
but
makes
but I
sense.
mean the whole base building.
Yeah, it's all that stuff. You
Motif
have
and
to like
look and-
research like stuff that you find, and then you gotta get different resources to build things. And it's the one thing it does that's kind of unique to it is like your oxygen. You have to be tethered to like a base or some building to where oxygen is being produced, and so you'll end up like as you explore the planet, like you'll just end up with this huge. You have to put down like these tethers on the ground, and you'll just have this long line of like.
Can you
oxygen.
get it like where you run out of room and you can't go any farther if you don't?
I mean, you can run out of tethers, and then
That's
you have to
what I
go
mean.
build more.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, you just
So
keep
you're
going.
like, I'm at the end of my leash.
Yeah, pretty much. And you can go. You can carry a little bit of oxygen, but if you go too far, you'll suffocate. Like your tank will run out. It's a really good like one of those. Hey, put on a podcast or some other thing and just zone out and play it for a while. It's a lot of fun.
I played.
You mean put
I,
on our podcast?
Put on this.
Yeah,
Oh,
put on this podcast. I haven't really played a whole lot new because it seems like we're kind of still in that not a ton that's coming out. But I checked out Minute finally on Switch. That game is crazy the way that you have such a tiny amount of time to try and figure out a puzzle.
It's a minute, Kyle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
like 60 seconds.
Literal
That's all
60
you get.
seconds. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's really like the way that they built that game. I mean, it's black and white. It's short. It's quick paced, and I mean, you just basically start over again every minute. It's a really cool puzzle. I've really been enjoying that.
I finally got over level 100 on Trials, the new Trials.
Hey, there
You
you go.
have still been playing that, haven't you?
Oh man, I sure have.
Is that about all you've been playing?
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. It's just so I can play that game and not think. Like I just zone out with that game.
Yeah.
And so earlier this week I beat my first level of extreme tracks, and they're so punishing. Like,
Uh-oh.
oh, hello.
We got a buzz.
audio buzz.
The puppy did something.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Hopefully you guys don't hear that and it's just in our headsets.
Oh, it got worse.
That was it. I bet the power cord and... Yeah, audio problems. That
That's
was
what you get when you get
fun
a
in
rabid
my
dog.
ears.
Yeah.
Just loose.
So
So yeah,
It'd be really great if the audio listeners
so
didn't catch any of that.
Explain what I'm sure they all got it. Explain what an extreme course is, because I don't think I know.
What is an extreme course?
on that game,
Yeah, like what
So-
would that be considered?
it's just significantly harder to do. So you've got to learn things like, and they have a really good like university area in here where they teach you
with
different things.
tutorials
Right.
and stuff.
But there's still some that are incredibly hard. But things like where you have a little ledge and you've got a bunny hop on your back wheel, and then land on a vertical, and then go up
It's
up
really-
that.
that
and
stuff's
then there's
really hard. That
then there's
sounds
ones where
painful.
like you have to go up and then kick the bike back and then up over it. It seems like completely implausible to be able to.
So
do
you
it.
said you finished one of those tracks.
I've finished all but 2 now.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
But yeah, I think the first one I passed, there was like literally 200 fails in like how you get the little markers at each point and you just try through it. But, yeah, I don't know what it is about
fails.
those games, but it's that I have to get to the next stage. Kind
Well,
of
I
thing,
think when you feel
know?
yourself getting better at it, it's rewarding. So you
Oh,
just keep doing it.
absolutely.
Like,
And
you feel like you're learning it.
The thing about this one compared to the other trials, all the mechanics are really the exact same, right? But they've spent more time in this game helping you understand how to use those mechanics. So if you go through the university, you're like, oh, okay, in order to get enough back pressure on my back suspension to get it to cross that gap, I need to follow this pattern,
Right.
with the joysticks and with the gas. And anyway, it's just one of those games that I just can't seem to put down.
Yeah,
You're
there's-
better than us.
I think you're like Kyle's kind of mentioned that there's not a lot of new stuff coming around,
Right.
but
Yeah.
for me, I've just kind of been diving into stuff that I've missed, and
Yeah.
there's a lot out there. There's always so many
right.
games.
Some of those older games. There's a lot on Xbox Games Pass that they just keep putting stuff
Yeah,
out there.
It's really good stuff. But coming out tomorrow is Days Gone.
Mm-hmm.
It's Walking Dead first meets Sons of Anarchy is out.
Yeah. You get to be Jax Daryl.
And hopefully it's good.
It's getting not so good reviews. Is that
well? So here's the
is
thing.
that what you're
I'm
saying?
looking at like the review embargo went up today, and on Metacritic right now it has a 72, which is not like the worst it
terrible.
could get, but it's not like super great. But I think what intrigues me about games like this is they come around every once in a while where they're very contentious, like with the reviews, because you have everything from a 30% rating up to a 96% rating on like different, just like from different review outlets. So a lot of times you'll see like a little bit of ebb and flow from like, the review, the critics out there, whatever. And I get that people get real upset and defensive if you talk about reviews and how dare you judge a game by its reviews. You should play it and see if you like it. But I think when you're, especially if you're going to be really budget conscious about it and you're buying your games, you want to make sure you're paying for a game that's like worth your money. Like you don't.
Right.
So it's like, I'm not trying to say that, you should only listen to reviews, but like if you have the expendable cash or GameFly or something and you can just try the game or buy it and you don't care if it's good or bad, like that's fine. But I think reviews are valuable for people who are going to buy the game, want to buy the game, but they don't, is it worth their money? Is it something they're going to play?
There's already full walkthroughs of the game.
Yeah, probably because of
YouTube.
early people, like a lot of YouTubers
Yeah.
get it early.
16 and a half hours of gameplay on the first. It says part 1.
Yeah.
I can't believe someone would watch that. It just, for me, like literally just watching someone else play. Like, I get watching parts of someone play or games that are repetitive that are like, games where it's skill based versus just storyline driven. But I
think we're seeing a
it's
really
hard for me to
a
do
lot
that.
of people though that like especially younger generations that have grown up with Twitch and YouTube being a gaming resource. They're just like, hey, I'm curious about this game, but I don't have the console or I can't afford to buy it. I'm just gonna watch somebody play it
so that I know what happened.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna see it, and they're just gonna watch it.
So they
and
get
then-
to at least experience it. They're not controlling it.
Yeah,
but
there's
they get to
there's a market
experience
for
it.
it. So
I think-
I mean, it makes sense that you have people that
It's
do
not
it.
for me, but I get
Right.
it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I get
Yeah.
that's why people get it. But the thing that I find interesting about this game with the reviews is just that they're so all over the place. And usually when that happens, that is a game that I'll get into because of that. Because I feel like this is an obvious candidate for me.
You almost want to know why someone doesn't like it compared to why someone does.
Really liked it.
Yeah.
Like it's so across the board that it's like, okay, either there must be redeemable qualities of this game, and I kind of want to experience.
Is this
that
PlayStation
myself.
exclusive?
It
Yeah.
is.
Well, and it kind of makes me wonder just with the way that like there were people that were upset with the footage that they showed at one of the E3s versus like when they first initially announced it. So there's been this kind of like back and forth with the way that people have kind of perceived what this game was going to be anyway.
Yeah.
Just simply off of like the release trailers and the stuff that we've seen
Well, and
already
there's
from
been
it.
people who've gone to preview events and they have been talking
Right.
poorly about some of their experiences at those events. The thing that I heard a lot was like, oh, they showed the gameplay and there's these giant hordes of freakers that are coming
Yeah, they
after you.
yeah.
And like these guys were going in to play like they got a couple hours with the game and they're like, I didn't see any of that, so I don't think this is in the game. Where you find out later as you start to watch some of these reviews and read them, they're saying, hey, yeah, there's a big like gap where in the beginning the hordes aren't really there. It's like kind of a later game thing.
Right.
So a lot of people who are going in and just playing early gameplay
Thinking
aren't
they're just going to
experiencing
get
that.
World War Z
Yeah.
crawling
And I
up
mean,
the side of a
it-
wall. It's not going to happen at the beginning.
Yeah, it starts to
Okay.
build in. It's something that's later in the game. I just like it sounds like the open world though is gorgeous. There's some pop in and some issues with the graphics, but for the most part, it like the ambient lighting and everything. It looks like that's really good.
Right.
And I love the idea of just being like, hey, I'm this dude on a motorcycle and I can upgrade the parts and I can like, to survive. And then I just go, and it's maybe it's just like, hey, I'm thirsty for an open world game because there hadn't been any for a while. But
Right.
But I don't know. I'm gonna give it a shot. I mean, I normally like I've tried to be much more like if I feel like it's something I want to take a chance on, I've been really interested in, I'm gonna I'll
Yeah.
play it. Like I want to play it and I'll see how it turns out.
It feels like despite the fact that there are so many games with zombies out there, there hasn't been something like this in a while, or that seems like it's kind of carried itself in this exact way.
Yeah.
Where it's kind of that open world, you do what you want to survive. It seems like there's some neat mechanics from different things that I've seen in some preview stuff.
I think the big complaint that I'm hearing from a lot of like the reviews is just that if you're coming to it for the story, that it's
may not
really
have it
bland.
there.
It's
Okay.
just bland. It's just like,
It's
hey,
like you're just trying to survive zombies.
it's just that the story that's like almost like too stereotypical of biker. Like I
Awesome.
saw someone tweet this thing today that showed like, I guess they show, maybe it's probably a flashback of like the main character and his woman getting married, and the literal like subtitles were her reading her vows or saying her vows, and it was something like, I hope you family, this isn't family friendly, so earmuffs. I hope that you ride me at least as much as your bike. Like, so that's actual context. That's written for a woman to say in this game, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
the reality of that is not. I mean, even like the hardest biker chick, I don't know. I just like it. Just seems like a
It's
stretch.
way too
so it's
cliche.
like if that sort of thing. I mean, that sounds like a really bad movie to me that I would watch because of that. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, this
Yeah.
dialogue is gonna suck, and I'm gonna enjoy every minute of it. And so that all of those things, I mean, that appeals to me. But I
mean,
I like to be critical about stuff because it keeps. I feel like it keeps my mind sharp. It's not that I just want
Sure.
to poop on everyone's fun. I
well,
wanna,
you do like pooping
Yeah.
on fun
well,
too.
I'll just
That is, I
Well,
think
I mean,
you
just a
do
little
that
bit.
for fun.
That is
Yeah,
maybe I
Just
poop
a
on
little
fun
bit.
for fun. Go to my website, poop on fun for fun. I actually don't.
Dot fun.
Don't go there. On the off chance it is a site, don't go there.
Yeah.
No, I think for me, like
Two bikers, one fuel tank. All right. Anyways, go ahead.
I mean, the selling point.
Too much, Eric.
Oh,
.com.
thank you. I wouldn't have known where to go for that if I didn't have that .com at the end. Without that completed address,
Wow.
I think for me, the idea of what I saw is a guy that is just on the run and trying to survive zombies.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't necessarily have to have that much more storyline other than maybe him trying to get from point A to point B for me to
Yeah.
think that this may be an enjoyable game, as long as all the gameplay and the zombies and everything else feels right, whether
Yeah.
the tone is very cliche and whatnot. I think it can be a game that looks like it can have fun if all of those pieces are right, even if the story doesn't matter. So
Yeah, I think. I mean, I
Yeah.
played through. I finished Red Dead, for crying out loud. I mean, I could play through this. I'm sure.
your opinion of that game
Somebody
just
is rolling
continues
over
to,
in their grave.
continues to get worse and worse as the days pass between when you've played Red Dead 2 and
I fired it up about a week ago, and I got in it, and I was just like, I've had that whole feeling. Like, it is a game that I think you like. For me, at least, I had to play it the way I did, where I just played it and nothing else. I didn't touch any other
Yeah.
game, and I played through it, and I got done with
Nothing
it
else matters.
because I could not have gone back and forth between other
Oh,
games.
no.
like that,
Oh, no.
because it feels like freaking molasses when you get in there. Like, it's so slow. Here I am, cowpoke. But it's just like,
But when you
it's
get
just
in
like,
the game,
once
the
you're in
hours
the
just
groove.
drone.
Yeah.
Like you just play it for hours nonstop.
Once you're in that groove, it
Yeah.
feels fine.
It
but
just-
then you're right. After you're out of it, you're like, man, that drug on.
Yeah.
I love that game. I love the story. Everything about it was fantastic.
story
but-
was amazing. The writing was top notch. But I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I was making a sarcastic dig. It was a great
yeah.
game.
No,
It's fine.
I
It's
I
fine.
got you.
Days Gone. It's out tomorrow. I'm gonna check it out. Maybe
I got
maybe
it.
I should stream that tomorrow.
I got it coming in GameFly.
Nobody
I'm
wants spoilers.
interested.
Yeah.
I mean, if the story is as bland as some of the reviews are saying, then nobody cares about the spoilers.
Yeah, right.
Just go play it.
Exactly. But while we're in this video game vein, let's keep mining it. There's this article from GameRant.com that says, like, to preface this, we mentioned it I think last week we talked a little bit about the PS5 stuff. with
Yeah, because they
Cerny got out
released
there
that
and
article saying, "Hey, we're going to release this game
this game.
console,
Okay.
and it's going to be great."
But anyways, this headline from Game Rant says next Xbox more powerful than PS5 confirms second source, which is just like
I'm sorry. I love that the picture in the article has an Xbox 360 controller.
that's really classy. That's like
great job.
This is all we could find on
This was the
Unsplash.com.
only stock footage that we have of a game controller.
Well, the only free one they didn't have to pay for.
Right.
So this is interesting that this is already coming out. Like, do we know who? Like, is this a viable source?
I
Like,
don't.
is
I
this-
don't know. It sounds like there
From
have been.
Microsoft.
Second source.
But is it from Microsoft? Or?
I don't think it's from Microsoft, but I think that there are whoever it is that is leaking this stuff has been. I don't know if it's this one or one of the other leaks that they've said it's somebody that usually has stuff pretty accurate when they do have something that leaks. So, I mean, it makes sense if Xbox is trying to continue to ride that wave that they had with the Xbox One X, where they said,
Yeah.
"Hey, we're the most powerful console out there." It makes sense that they would want to be one-upping PlayStation's new console, whatever they end up calling it.
Well, yeah, whoever comes out second should definitely be better, right?
Well, it doesn't necessarily mean that they'll come out second. I mean, they're both going to probably come out the same season, whether they're a month
Yeah.
apart or whatever.
Like the PS4 and the Xbox One were like within a couple weeks of
Yeah,
each other,
it was
though.
within a month.
Yeah, it was less than a month though. It was like the closest that's ever
Was it?
been. Yeah.
Okay.
So they're rumored that there's going to be 3 different versions of the next Xbox.
Yeah, they've said that there's.
I bet there'll be discless, with disc, and then the Pro.
Or, yeah,
whatever.
like,
The
Yeah,
X.
yeah, that's what it sounds like.
X.
There's going to be a more consumer friendly.
Well, because they have 3 now, right?
they just released the disc.
Yeah, they just released the disc.
Well, so
disc.
they technically have 4
Less.
because. Oh, you mean of the current gen of the Xbox One?
There's the Xbox One
Right.
S. There's the
Yeah,
Xbox
that's what I
One
mean.
discless, and then,
And then there's the
Xbox One X.
Yeah.
X, yeah.
Because the original Xbox One is old.
It's,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's gone.
There's the
They
big-
don't
the one
make
that
that
looks
one.
like a VCR is not available anymore.
except for in my house.
Well, just shove a VHS in there and have a good time. I think it's I think it's just too early to be like ours is better. No, ours is better.
Right.
Like let's
Wait until June, folks.
Let's
That's when
at
we'll
least-
find out about everything.
I mean, let's hear about it. Let's see what you got. I'm just so like neutral about consoles though. Like I can't get into the whole Ford's better than Chevy. Like I
It's
just
because you own them all.
Well, I mean,
True.
I do, and I don't. That's not like some. I don't know. I just don't get the whole point of like trying to latch onto the one console and saying. I mean, if you.
It's because there's a lot of people who can only afford to get one.
Well, I know,
Well,
but
there
that
is
doesn't
that,
mean
but-
that
And
doesn't
they wanna
mean that
feel
you
like they
have
got
to-
the best
I
one.
know, but that's like.
I mean,
But I guess that's the same thing in everything. I mean, people own
It's the same- it's the
vehicle
whole
they
Ford
own
Chevy
is
thing,
better
yeah.
because they own it. Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I have the Switch, PlayStation, and Xbox. But I mean, I'm sure when the Xbox and PlayStation release their new ones, I'm gonna have to choose which one I'm gonna get, at least to start off. I don't think I'm gonna have that kind of money just sitting
pretty
around.
sure I know which one I'll get.
And yeah, I mean, you have constantly been an Xbox guy,
Yeah.
so that makes sense.
I think
Having played, I mean,
there's a
having had
PlayStation
both,
in my house.
I want both
but-
of them.
Yeah.
I just for me it's about like the exclusivity. Like there's
Yeah.
games like I want to.
Oh, yeah, you wanna
wanna
play those games,
the
like
games
Days Gone.
that are-
Yeah.
I'm just saying like right now as it sits, like the PlayStation exclusives have been a lot better than the Xbox
100%.
exclusives. Like at least within this console generation.
Yeah.
And so it's just.
But I
it's
also
hard.
don't play any games with people on there too, so that's a factor.
Yeah, I mean, sure, and that's the thing is like Xbox is it depends on a lot of times it depends on where your friends are too, like
Yeah.
who's gonna play on.
Probably end up getting Xbox first because Jeremy.
Sorry, Kyle.
So we can be friends and probably like
Kuipers
play
and I are
once
gonna get
every
PlayStation first.
every 4
No,
years.
wait, man. PC Master Race.
Oh, okay. okay.
Yeah, I mean it's because we all play video games together so much.
I
It
know,
really
right?
matters.
That's
I
why
mean,
you should make
the
the
last
decision.
that we've all played Apex Legends was totally not last night, but like 4 months ago. That game hasn't even been out that long.
That's
Yeah,
true.
But it
well,
was that long ago.
That's because season 1
Of
sucked.
things.
Hey, it doesn't mean that the game sucks. We
It's
we
why
can
we
still
stopped
play.
playing. Let's be honest.
No, you just
Yeah.
have traveled and played your trials and getting your million track races won.
To mention things that don't suck, though, I saw Captain Marvel finally.
Oh yeah,
And you liked it.
That was great. I thought it was
fantastic
really good.
movie.
I mean, it was, there was a lot of action scenes.
Yeah.
And Marvel always does a good job at it, though. I think it's usually they're just really well done. But I really liked the story. I like the way it kind of jumped through time and a little bit of like the amnesia thing that played in there, and like I thought the '90s soundtrack was fun. Like, and just a lot of it was well done. It felt like it teetered in this. I feel like there's like it's the new Marvel, like they kind of have this new.
they're like
jive.
we're going in a different direction, but we can't fully go there until
it's
after
like, hey,
May.
We've got it's like they got. I mean,
Well, I guess
Guardian. I feel like Guardians was the new direction a lot of the way because Ragnarok kind of followed in that Guardians
Sure.
kind of vibe. Where this like it pulls from that. It has some of that the humor and like the nuance and I think the nostalgia factor from the 90s and 80s and whatever.
Right.
But then it still pulls in that kind of more traditional Marvel vibe. But no, I really enjoyed it. I thought the way they like I don't know. It's a weird thing where this maybe Jeremy gets this I don't know, but I think like and I'm not. This sounds like I'm in an exclusive club.
Here's where he's
and
pooping
so
on poop. With poop.
I think I'm special, but no, I'm saying like with like having a daughter and like watching a movie where there's this like really powerful, strong female lead that is represented in a light that is not just like damsel in distress or like I'm so tough I don't need anybody like the polar
Yeah,
because usually
there was still sensitivity.
or
to
the
her as a
completely
character,
or the completely sexualized the way that a
Yeah.
lot of times that's
Right.
how they compensate either
Like
side
her
not
suit-
being it.
her suit didn't even have like a little cleavage window
Right.
in it like
Yeah.
you know what I mean like it just there was so many things about it that made this like she was an awesome like hero for a daughter to look up to and I think for me that's just really cool and I think that goes for a lot of things where people someone like an African American who's real like excited about like Black Panther like it makes sense that you like as white men here we've seen ourselves portrayed as superheroes for years and years
the
and years.
relatability of it.
Yeah, and so it's just cool to see this. It's like exciting to say,
Right.
hey, like I don't know, there's this character you can root for, and she's whatever. I don't want to
without
dive
making
into
it feel
too
like
much.
it's a token.
Yeah, because I feel like sometimes it's just like, look at this, we used a woman, and it's like, well, no, like she owned that role, she did a great job.
Right.
Like Brie Larson is
Well, and
really
Not only that, though,
talented.
they had other female leads, if you were in her life,
Or at
in the
least
story
supporting.
too.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
leads to her, like
it's
that
it's
she
one of
looked
those
up to.
it's one of those things too that I think they've kind of laid some of the groundwork in the comics in general that I think has helped make it an easy thing for a lot of the typical loud, noisy people that would be negative about it in some of the fanboys. Being really excited about seeing her as a character because she is supposed to be one of the most powerful characters in Marvel's universe, and in the cinematic universe, they have the producers have said she is the most powerful character that we have put on the screen. Like she would take Hulk like that.
She's like Marvel's Superman.
Yeah.
But I think it's a bummer because I've had conversations with people who
that have written it off.
Well, didn't even see it, and we're just like I was
Yeah.
talking to them about it, and like, hey, did you like? I'm thinking back when it was releasing, like, hey,
Right.
are you gonna see Captain Marvel? What do you think? And then it would be like I got one response was, why is it a woman?
Because
And I'm just like, that just sucks that like we even have to even like be in that place, like that frame of mind. Like, why does it matter? Like, it's a good story. She's a cool hero. Like, I don't know.
I don't get it. And I mean, it's one of those things that too. I mean, if you look at like some of the comic book stuff, she used to be Miss Marvel, which basically was a lady that wore like a Robin type mask and a black one piece swimsuit with a sash. So there's like a lot of like growth that they've had with her becoming somebody that can stand up and be like right next to Tony Stark as the person. Like they had a big comic series that was Civil War II.
Wait, are we circling the wagon here? They gave her some dignity.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is like, wow.
Snap.
Yeah,
no, but
there's a little bit of dignity that they gave her. And,
Yeah, that's-
But I mean, like it's one of those things. Like even the title that she had before they decided to make her Captain Marvel
She's
was
better
one of
than
those
Tony,
that,
right? Because she's more than just smart.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. I mean,
because she is still pretty smart.
she has blue blood.
she does. I loved the there was like plot twist in that movie that I didn't see coming.
Yeah.
Like even as a fan of like I had a strict idea of what that movie was going to be based on the players and the whole war that was supposed to be the backstory of it. And they flipped it on its head enough that you're just like, whoa, I did not expect that to do what it did.
Also, they spent a lot of time on Nick Fury's character, which like that was probably the most screen time he'd had in a Marvel movie.
Yep.
But like he's always been so super serious, and I think they had the liberty of making him a little more lighthearted because he's younger and not as hardened.
He's
and like
he hadn't seen a few things.
yeah, and it's just like one of those things where like it was like the most fun I'd ever seen Sam Jackson be in a movie. Like he was just playful and like joking, like in a way that's not like
He was like
he's still with him.
He's
You know what
not.
I mean?
He's
Like-
not dropping MFers.
Well, I know, but
and-
that's
well,
a
no, but I mean,
cliche.
like,
but I'm just
sure.
saying, like,
but I mean, like the
he's
way
he's always got that way he carries himself, and I feel like he let loose a little bit more in this movie.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like
the
he didn't seem like he was having to play the character of Samuel L. Jackson playing a character.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, this is him just acting.
I still am uncomfortable with the way that they make people look younger in movies now.
Yeah, it is weird. It's very weird.
It is strange, that whole like it's just really good
Yeah. Yeah.
computer graphics, and I'm like, it's like now I get like, because like I remember back in the day showing my parents like a really bad CG movie where they were blown away by how real something looked that was computer generated, and now I'm like, I feel like I'm the old
stuff,
person
yeah.
because it's getting so good that I can't tell the difference. Like that whole movie, Sam Jackson's face was computer altered, to look
Right.
young, and it's like it's just
Well,
crazy.
I mean, oh, go ahead, Kuipers.
You know what else was also like computer altered for a majority of the movie?
What's that?
Goose, the cat.
Oh yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot of CG
Because
cat.
because
I did kind of pick on that.
Brie Larson has severe cat allergies.
Oh, so whenever she
So-
was in the scene with it,
So yeah, like that's why they actually had a CG cat in it. Because,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
because it was a
crazy.
real cat sometimes though.
Yeah, it was a real cat.
Yeah.
Some in some
Yeah.
scenes it was a real cat, but
The cat
lot
kind
of
of stole the show in a lot of ways. Like,
Yeah.
there was some really great moments with the cat.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, there was.
Spoiler moments that I won't say here, but I don't want to belabor this. I mean, it's just kind of a build up because Endgame is tonight for a lot of people,
Right.
or tomorrow, or whatever. This
Already
weekend.
is.
People are already have seen it.
Yeah.
And I'll admit, going to see Captain Marvel, I just saw it this week, and it was like a little bit of homework for me. I was like, I need to see this before Endgame.
Right.
Like
But my wife and kids watched every single Marvel movie of this generation.
all 21 or 21, yeah.
Yeah, they ended up watching them all over the last like 3 or 4 weeks.
That's crazy.
There was some theaters that were showing it as a like 48-hour
Anthology.
marathon or something.
That's
like
painful.
At a theater. I could not imagine trying to do that.
You must hate yourself. I saw someone had a mocked up in-game diaper because it's so long. Like it's already a 3-hour movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you
Well,
can-
that's what I mean. I think I think I said it at the beginning, but I thought I read somewhere where it's the longest movie produced this decade or something like that.
Oh, from the
Yeah,
longest?
makes sense.
I think so. Yeah,
Oh, because like what was Titanic the last one that was this long?
probably.
So you're
Or
saying
the-
when I buy in-game, I'm gonna have to get it on 2 VHS?
Yes, maybe 3.
No,
Because we've lost the technology to make VHS, so it's going to actually
Yeah,
be 3.
there are 0 VHS tape manufacturers.
do you
in-
remember-
And there's so much CG that it couldn't possibly be held on
Did
just 2
anybody own
VHS.
the Titanic on VHS though? It was
No, but I
literally
remember
2 VHS.
Yeah, it was
tapes.
2 tapes in
Like-
the box. Yeah,
Kuipers, what were you gonna say? Sorry.
I was gonna say like would Lord of the Rings be in there as well?
I think it's longer
I mean,
than the Lord of
well-
the Rings
well-
movies.
Probably not the edited or the
Like the extended
director's
edition,
cut
but-
extended.
Yeah, not the extended, but those weren't in theaters.
Yeah.
Yeah, they talked about having an intermission, but they're not.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like they're doing it, which kind of I kind of wish that they would.
because
because
people
it's
gotta
like
pee.
people will pee and people are going to miss stuff. And I feel like it's if you're putting this biggest cinematic event on,
Yeah,
that it would be a good service
I
to
suppose,
your
though-
fans to be like, hey, here's your chance.
I mean it's probably hard though because you like got to get everyone out and everybody back in like
Yeah.
this limited amount of time, and it's just I don't know. Take a buddy with you that can stay when you
Don't
go.
buy the
pee.
large pop, okay?
There's also
Just don't do it.
There's also a lot of websites out there right now that are
With
like
the run to pee.
Here's when you should go
Yeah.
pee during this.
So if you want to see some spoilery stuff, or like
I
at least
know.
minimally spoilery
I was scared
stuff,
to read it. 'Cause
yeah,
I
I'm not
didn't
going to go
wanna-
and look at it.
You can buy catheters. I'm just saying.
diapers, man. That's where it's at.
Catheter in a bag is
So you gotta-
connect to your ankle.
You got to go in the middle of the previews. That's part of the issue. Is that the previews are now like almost an hour long before they
Feels
show
like
the movie.
it's at least a half hour.
Yeah, it's at least a full half hour of trailers that I'm like, I'm only gonna see these trailers. I'm never gonna actually go see those movies.
I'm gonna see all those movies.
all those movies,
especially
maybe.
at Dog's Way Home. One thing like that kind of brings it to tonight's topic that I wanted to talk about is I watched
The Dog's Way Home?
I've been watching the OA. Has anybody watched that on Netflix?
I think my wife watched the first season.
No.
Really liked it.
It's weird for one.
Yeah.
It's very like supernatural, and also it like deals with death and like these people who can like who have near death experiences, but they come back, but they technically they can't die. Like it's this weird thing, and they're I don't know. Anyways, I'm not gonna.
It's like
explain.
that Kevin Bacon movie.
Sure. But I just the new season came out in March, and so my wife and I just finished it. It was good. It's so strange that like it's very like, okay, I've got to suspend, some belief here.
Right.
Like I got to just try to take it at what
I mean,
it
like
is.
with a lot of
Yeah.
television.
Yeah.
You got to
but
live
it's-
within its reality.
Yeah. And it's just
It's not as easy a concept
it'll
to
do
buy
stuff.
into.
It'll do stuff that'll make you feel uncomfortable or awkward, or just like you'll be like, "What? This is dumb. Like, what in the world? Why am I
Right.
watching this?" And then it'll just go whoosh and 180 you and just ground it and like make you feel like, I don't know. I'm not gonna cry, but I might cry. I'm not gonna though, but I could. But this is awkward too, and this is I don't know. It just does these weird.
That you're like, I really don't care enough. I shouldn't cry at this, but I probably could.
Well, it's
But
not
I'm
that I
not
don't.
going
I don't know. As I
care.
get older, I cry watching TV way too much. I'm just
I
gonna be
know.
honest with you.
Isn't that weird?
It's so honest?
but is
like even at parts in movies where I'm like, it's not even sad.
I know.
Why am I?
Yeah, what is-
Seriously,
what
why am
is-
I tearing up?
Yeah.
like
I'm getting emotional.
I
for
don't
no
even know
reason.
how. I don't. And oh my goodness, it happens way too much.
I
I am
know.
just getting. I must be just getting
You're,
old.
you're getting
right?
old. It's
Is that what
fine.
it is?
We're just getting sappy and old. It's,
Oh my goodness. I'll just see something where like these two characters have like literally a brief moment and it just tugs me so hard. I'm just
Jeremy's
like,
having a 2 Kleenex moment.
oh my goodness.
That
you just do the my eyes bugging
yeah,
me.
you have that capability.
Yeah, I can get away with it.
Hey,
Yeah.
TP Poker,
TP
thanks for
Poker.
hanging out for a minute and then leaving.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Hello and good evening to you.
No, I'm just okay. I thought he was leaving. I thought that was a goodbye.
Oh,
Sorry,
that was
I
a high
misread it.
bye. Fly
Yeah.
by.
Never
Yeah,
mind.
no.
Anyway, Anyways, thanks for
it
joining
was
us.
not
Stay
an
with
hola.
us.
So, anyways, the OA had me like already like swimming in the concept of death and all of this
Sure.
topic, and then I had went to a funeral today, so that
Ugh.
put me even more into the like I got me thinking about just the way we do funerals in general, and that's just like it's
Yeah.
bad, like it's just not good. Like the whole death process is like we're also uncomfortable with it. Like
Right.
I'm not saying that I mean even
How should it be different?
like how old I am, like I'm not gonna be able to change my how I interact with death. Like it's still just I'm a product of my surroundings and my upbringing, and just like
Right.
but anyways, there was this study that came out. I think it was,
was last- I think it was
last
like
week.
a couple
it was
weeks ago.
No, I think it was like a week ago. Wasn't it that the study?
Yeah, I
actually
thought
released?
about putting that. I thought about talking about that last week, and we didn't.
Yeah,
didn't end up getting to anything about it.
You thought about it, or did you?
Yeah,
put
I
it in
thought
there
about
and we-
putting
how
it
about
in
you-
there.
How about you
Okay,
just
anyways.
tell the people what we're talking
Sorry,
about?
Kyle
Yeah.
threw me off. I was like, wait, Kyle's trying to one up me and say I was going to talk about this first, but
Yeah.
but
No, I
I'll
decided to
let
talk
Eric
about video.
do it.
No, I decided to talk about video games last week instead.
but no. Anyways, this is
Oh, I
from-
knew this before
This
Eric
story,
knew this.
This story
I mean, I
comes from
did.
fastcompany.com.
Okay.
It says this macabre pig brain study tells us that death isn't simply black and white. And so, I mean, I'll try to give you guys a rundown as much as I understand of it, and then you either, if you don't know more or whatever, we can jump into it. But pretty much, these scientists did this test on I think it was 32 pig heads. These pigs were slaughtered for meat. They took
As pigs do.
They took the heads and they put in this, I don't know if it was synthetic, but it's an alternative blood, pretty much, this
Okay.
liquid that they use. And then they were able to light up the brain's neurons and and so
Right.
they had been dead for at least 4 hours, I think it was. And they were doing all these tests, and they didn't bring the brain to a cognizant level. They weren't feeling anything or whatever, but they were able to prove that maybe our science behind medically brain dead is not as accurate as we think, and maybe that
Interesting.
the brain can be resuscitated. There's maybe obviously this is really early and there's no way this is going into the medical field, but it's also saying, because when you think about when someone dies in a hospital and once the heartbeat's gone, then they base it on brain activity.
Right.
And it's
Yeah.
okay, well, there's zero brain activity here. But pretty much what this is saying is, hey, even after that point, there's still potential for there to be brain activity. Even
Right.
after we've come, everyone's
Based on this
agreed
new study now.
that, yeah, hey, the brain activity's over, you're dead, it's whatever. But this is really interesting because I think science up until this point, or medical science in a way, has thought that the brain just started to deteriorate immediately after the oxygen's cut off from it, and it's just not rescuable. There's no way to salvage the damage. But potentially this study is saying hey, drowning victims, other forms of suffocation or heart failure, stuff like that, where
Sure.
people have their bodies have given out or they've lost oxygen to their brain, and we have thought they were brain dead.
Maybe there's options too.
Maybe, but I think if you try to wrap your head around that, that's kind of insane, because that's saying
Yeah.
a lot of people who have died and are going to die.
It's insane. It's
There is a
out of your mind.
Well, yeah, okay, great. That's almost a pun.
Thank you for the big voice. That's great.
But it's
That was
almost.
really bad, Jeremy.
It's just
this is
this-
a really bad joke.
It. I think the morality of it calls that into question. It calls into question what we define about death. What does it mean to die? Because
Right.
if you think about all these people that have died and have been, sent off to the morgue and put in a refrigerator, and if we're not that far from the science that could have brought them back to life, it's so crazy to think, what is death to us? Besides any type of religious or spiritual, supernatural standpoint you might take on, the afterlife, what is the mortal coil death
Yeah.
experience? You hear the rumors of people who are maybe the brain's cognizant in a way that we don't understand even after death. Maybe
Sure.
you're in a way kind of conscious of what's going on
Because
for a
there's
while.
the light that you
Well,
see
sure,
in
the
the
light,
tunnel.
but I mean,
I didn't see a light, but
That's
like,
because
some
you
people
weren't
say
dead
they
enough
did.
yet.
you didn't die enough.
You weren't
or
dead
maybe
enough,
I wasn't
Jeremy.
going to heaven.
I know.
Sorry, that's more.
I'm sure if you go look up old episodes, you'll understand what Jeremy's talking about. He was in a terrible motorcycle accident years ago, and he died.
Yeah.
Flatlined, at least, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
Your,
But
your brain was still alive.
and
I must have
See?
been.
Your brain was alive, and that's why you didn't see the light.
But it's just an interesting thing to wrap your head around. It's kind of scary in some ways because it's what are the implications of that then? If if what we've considered dead for years and years and years, like, isn't actually potentially isn't
but
dead.
You look, hundreds of years ago, and the same thing, like things where when they thought there was nothing that could be done, now.
Yeah, that's true. And now
Yeah.
it can be. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
like
so-
even an organ transplant was probably just unheard of.
And what it makes me think about is with every advance that we've seen, in our lifetime and prior to it, how much more have we not seen yet?
Yeah.
Right? Like, what's the next 100 years?
Well, and there's so much like science fiction behind like uploading our consciousness to a
Yeah.
server or
Yeah.
something like that. Like we're all going to be living in the cloud and like what? Like I mean, I don't want to get here. And sit here and have that conversation forever.
This is telling us that Futurama was right. People's heads are going to be put into jars, and they're going to be in a museum, and you can go and visit them.
That goes to consciousness versus living.
Sure, and that's debatable though. But I mean, that's that. Like,
Are
I don't
they
want
the same thing?
I don't want to get into
Are
this
they
huge
not the
debate,
same
but like,
thing,
it's
right?
also like I was talking to my wife about this today because
Are you without
the
your
whole
body?
the whole death thing has been kind of in the forefront
Yeah.
of our minds, and it was like, it's like consciousness is such a it's a philosophical thing for us right now. But like,
because we're conscious,
right? But I'm
Right?
just
Like-
saying, like, when does it go from philosophical to science? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's gonna be eventually there's got probably a bridge that's gonna be made there. Like, and so that's like you think about like I was just talking about my dog, and like we have this one bulldog who we've had since she was a pup, and I was like, well, does she know she's a dog? Like, are dogs conscious of that? Like, do they look in a mirror and go, oh, that's me?
I mean, she thinks she's
Yeah,
a Boston
I don't know.
Terrier.
I don't know.
My wife was like, she thinks she's a human, and that's
that's what I thought about my dog.
yeah, and it's
Yeah.
like sometimes you think like when they have no other context, they only are looking at the human. They're like, that must be what I am. Like, I don't know anything else. Like, I must be human. Like, you know what I mean? I'm just that's just such a a crude example.
Well,
but
or even if they recognize that,
yeah, or do they have that type of consciousness?
or is it that thing gives me food? I like it. Like,
is it that basic? I don't know if
we don't know.
I don't know if we'll
We-
ever know in
yeah.
our lifetime.
Yeah.
But
Probably.
we probably will know.
No, that's
Oh,
probably
right,
what it is.
Oh, okay. I mean, but maybe it's not though. Like, I mean, how? Like, what is? Because I mean, we're defining consciousness based off of our own experience. Like, that's the only way we can base it. So, like, we don't.
But they have memory,
we can't.
right?
Yeah, they can learn.
They
They can learn words.
You know that they recognize things.
Yeah.
You know
Ruh-roh.
that they can respond to the English language.
Yeah. Well, they can respond to.
Well,
The
to
languages.
anything,
Yeah.
to sounds.
Yeah.
They can associate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't mean they know what it means. They just
They're
know it'll
also
do
great
something.
at picking up on our emotions. Like,
Absolutely.
they can see like in our face when we're disappointed or we're upset. We don't have to.
But,
you don't even have
what
to
we
say
don't
it.
know is if those are just characteristics or if they are like.
But I feel like there's even been. I feel
know what I
like-
mean?
I think
Like-
there's been
like-
studies done that have
'Cause
proven
even
that they
dogs
have
have personalities.
that they have emotions that they
Yeah.
go through. Like, and so it's like, and I'm not.
Oh,
we're not.
speaking of dogs with emotions, I
This
want
is you got a sidebar right
I
here?
do. Sidebar.
Sidebars.
So our 2-year-old female lab we had fixed
Mm-hmm.
a couple weeks ago. She has been acting differently,
That happens.
and thanks, Kyle. And so
Like she's coming down
hasn't
here
been
unplugging things.
She hasn't been wanting to eat her food,
Oh, that's sad.
and she whines a lot,
Mm-hmm.
like just to get our attention or things
Yeah.
like that. So my wife was like a little concerned, right?
Yeah.
Called the vet and said, "Hey, here's what's going on." And the vet's like, "Actually, yeah, this is pretty normal."
They're mourning.
She's
Grieving.
She's grieving, and she wants you to know that she knows she's grieving,
Hmm.
and so she's like, just deal with it. If you feel like you can ignore it, but don't let that become a trait of now I'm going to give you more attention if you whine, because that will become
Yeah.
a pattern and a habit. But it was interesting that the vet was just like, yeah, that's a normal process that the dog is going to go through.
I guess I didn't expect us to go completely into like animal psychology or animal consciousness,
Yeah.
but I still think it's underplayed by humans because of the whole we eat them.
Top of the food chain.
Yeah, like I think that's underplayed a lot. Like we just want to believe that we're better, and we're not saying we aren't better. I'm just saying that we want to believe that they're not even like.
I mean, except for dolphins.
Yeah, I mean, but you know what I mean? Like we want to kind of just be like played off as like, well, we've got dominion over them. It's fine.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
whatever.
We
like,
got opposable thumbs.
Yeah, I know. We're better.
we can play video games.
But it is just one of those
We
things
can make
where
video
like
games.
what is and that's anyways, we could belabor this all night long. I could anyways. I'm fascinated by it. I like to dive in to the dark side of this and think about it. But I feel that I'm not. I feel like everyone's traipsing off a little bit. It's scary. We don't want to talk about it. I think I've disturbed Kyle. He's at his point.
I'm not disturbed.
He's at his
Well, it's
point
only
where
because he doesn't like dogs, and we brought
No.
up dogs.
I just
And
don't
he's,
know
like,
where to
triggered.
I just don't know where to go at this point. I mean, like we're near the end of what we normally run.
So you're saying the show's about dead for the dead.
Kyle
night.
wants to go home.
I don't.
done.
You want to
I don't
know
care.
if the show
Let's
is going to
keep
live
going.
after tonight.
Let's try to beat Endgame. Let's go right now.
We've done that before.
If
I
in
know we
our
have.
absence, if we really still exist, is that what you're
No,
trying to?
I just it's one of those things where it's like, and maybe maybe this could be to be continued, and Jeremy and I will do a
Sure.
podcast about this.
I
We'll have a dog.
I don't have
and a
any
cat
dogs,
and
so
a
I don't
lab,
have
you
much.
know?
I don't have much to
consciousness.
add to your conversation about
We
your
were
dogs.
talking about human consciousness, like
Yeah, but you were talking about dog
I'm
consciousness.
just saying. Like,
We were talking about pigs too. Come
Yeah.
on, that's where the story came from.
anyways, it's as science is progressing, it always is. It
Yeah.
doesn't stop. But it's also
scary.
It's the thing that they've pretty much said, hey, we're wrong. Like we're wrong about how we understand the brain, and
Sure.
this shows that there is potential
For more.
But it's because
I think it's scarier because it's something that is such a vital part of the way that the human works. I mean, your brain runs everything. So anytime that we've had something like this where we're like, I don't know if we really have understood these things, and suddenly we've got a better idea of how things like your heart works, or
Your brain
your
doesn't run
know,
everything.
Okay.
No,
All
I mean,
right. No,
no.
I understand, but I mean, like, it's where your function comes from. Like, it's where your personality is.
Yeah.
It's where
Your
everything.
consciousness.
It's where you're thinking through things. Like that aspect of life. Like, it's kind of weird and scary to think about not having that and just existing without being able to think. So, like the aspect
But it wouldn't
of
be, Kyle, because you wouldn't be able to think.
no, but I'm saying it goes
But I
back
don't-
to his
but I'm saying- I'm not-
question
but I
about
Yeah.
if there's this much that we could possibly keep somebody alive, like yes, I mean it's weird thinking backwards and going, man, there's so many people that probably may have had a chance to live longer if we'd known this. You could say the same thing about
Right,
almost
about a lot of
everything,
things.
but it's just that much more of like a disturbing level because of how much of an important part your brain is to everything in your life. I mean,
So,
it's,
so the whole length of life thing is something that I've thought and struggled a lot with, because that's kind of like the whole concept of modern medicine, is to keep someone alive longer.
yeah.
sure.
And I don't know, in my life, I've come to the point where I'm like, longer doesn't mean better.
Yeah.
Because like I see my neighbor who is going through dialysis once every other day, which people say that most people don't get to dialysis every other day.
Yeah.
Because by that time your body's
Yeah.
pretty much given up. And I just wonder, at what point do you say length versus quality? But then, because we extend length, we also are extending quality in some respects, right?
Yeah.
Or like, living with a terminal cancer and getting an extra 2 weeks because you went through more chemo. But were those 2 weeks worth it? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I've seen so many people in my life who have tried to fight something that was terminal, at least from our medical knowledge today.
Understanding of it, yeah.
Yeah, and their quality of life at the end, it was almost like, did they really live in that time, right? Or did they just fight the entire time?
Well, you fight with the hope that you're going to get through the fight, but then when you don't, that's another.
Well, a lot of times, though, that's the whole thing. That like, there's plenty of times where like, if we do this surgery, they may have another couple of months. Yeah, but at what quality of life, right? Like, I don't know. That's a tough thing, and
I think for
I'm
me,
dealing with it too, because I told you guys a couple weeks ago about my grandpa.
Yeah.
When the hospital. Well, my grandma just went to the hospital on Easter morning.
Yeah.
With blood disease. It's sepsis or something like that. That's what it's called. But and that can be fatal.
Yeah.
And just so I've been seeing those things and wondering through their, through my eyes, seeing them, that quality of life, length of life thing.
And I get that, and I guess maybe that I wasn't real clear because I'm not necessarily coming from the angle of extending life. That way, I guess I'm thinking of even
restoring life.
I'm even thinking about like younger people who have died early, and it's like now we have the tech. Like now we know, like, oh, okay, maybe you weren't dead, and his science. Okay, so think about it. Like if you think about it from like a religious standpoint, where people think, okay, afterlife, you die, you go somewhere, is what a lot of people.
You have to be somewhere. You have to exist, right?
A lot of people believe that, and so it's like if that's something that you believe. Like science is coming in here and saying, hey, but like you're leaving and then like, oh wait, a few hours later we were able to like jumpstart you like in your back. Like it's just a weird like argument to have. It's a weird conversation. I think it's just one of those things that it makes people uneasy. It makes people feel, very uncomfortable, but it's just one of those things where it's a fun conversation, and I've drawn it out too long. I apologize. It's just one of those
I'm
things.
into it too. So.
It's just it fascinates me.
Yeah.
But anyways, we'll have our consciousness conversation at another time. We have gone so long. I apologize, Kyle. You're right. It has gone too long. Kuipers has even gone in and swiped out his story that he brought to the table about a fan assaulting the top Smash Brothers player with a crab at a tournament. I thought that was a great story. We didn't get to it yet.
Fine, if you want to talk about it.
Do?
But I just went ahead and clicked on it, and I talked about it now.
Yeah. How does he assault somebody with a crab?
How do you have a crab to assault somebody with?
Exactly.
It's just I don't know.
I mean,
he's just holding a crab.
Yeah, because someone threw it at him.
How do you get a crab? Where are you getting a crab from? You just brought it into the tournament?
It was probably at the buffet line at the casino next door.
Was it a live crab?
It was dead.
Oh.
It was a dead crab, but like it also the tournament was held in Maine.
Oh,
so
those
that
are just
could be-
everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crabs and
But
lobsters.
Someone probably brought it intentionally to throw it. Like, this will be funny.
Yeah, like so he won the Smash tournament, which there's some people are upset about because of he's maybe not the most exciting play style since he mains Jigglypuff. But the thing is, like he after he won and like he shook the hand of the guy that he just won against and like won. Basically, this is like world championships essentially,
right?
And yeah, he then like someone
Winning's
threw
winning.
a crab at him.
Winning's winning, like just people need to get over it.
Best part about it though is, do you want to know how he opened up his stream on Monday? Then the next day,
Eating crabs?
Yep,
Nice.
eating crabs, listening to the song Crab Rave. Yep.
Well, there you go. It's just what happens. You don't get crabby about it. Okay. All right. We do not have time for much else. We're gonna tie this up. I think we got an email. Should we push that next week because we never have emails? Can we wait for it for next week?
I think we can.
What if we get a whole influx of emails next week?
Well, prove us wrong. Give us a whole bunch of emails.
We'll do a whole email show if we got enough emails.
This will be the
and
first
voicemails.
of the emails.
Yeah. So we'll save this email for next week because we've gone so long. I do need to think. There's just
you're throwing me off here.
What did I throw off? I skipped the mailbag, and now it's time for this part. How did I throw you off? I gave you plenty of time to prepare.
I was trying to prepare for the mail. So
well, I know, but I
guys.
was talking about not doing the mail.
The fourth wall.
Jeremy,
guys.
the fourth wall we're staring into and talking with. I mean, Jolliver is still in the chat saying, I appreciate it. Going long, still working. That's what we're here
Thanks
for,
for hanging
Jolliver.
out with
I'm
us.
just saying
while
you
you're
don't
working.
acknowledge the
We
fourth
want to
wall.
acknowledge the fourth wall by thanking all of our lovely and patient and kind Patreon peeps. That's right. These are the lovely individuals who donate on a monthly basis. Their money goes into Minute Tub's bank account where we use it to further the tub. You can see here that Jolliver and God of Atheists are supporters right there. If you want to get your name up here, just go to patreon.com/minutub. You can be a shining Patreon coral. We hope that you get pleasure from this show and would like to reciprocate that pleasure to us
through monetary gifts.
through monetary means.
I mean, you can come to Comic-Con and hug us if you really
You
want
can hug
to.
Kuipers.
Yes.
Kuipers loves hugs.
But ask him first.
Yes. He does want consent. Jeremy, on the other hand, doesn't need consent. He's fine with it. Just hug him.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. Have you ever had that like coworker or something that like
This is getting weird.
No, always ask
or
for
someone,
consent, please.
Someone who just hugs and then they use the excuse of, well, I'm a hugger, and you're
Yeah.
like,
That's like someone coming
yeah,
up
but
and just
this is my personal space.
like kissing
Like,
you on the mouth and being like, I'm a kisser.
I'm a kisser.
What are you gonna do?
That would make a great movie.
What are you gonna do? I'm just a kisser. Hi, Jeremy. How's your day?
Don't just
You're
do
just
that
French.
stuff.
You're just French.
I saw something
Give
today.
babies herpes that way.
The one guy from
of
Game of
herpes.
Thrones said that he has
The
fans that are constantly walking up to him and groping him because it's been alluded to that
Which
he's the squire, Brienne's squire. I can't remember what his name is.
Oh.
He used to hang out with Tyrion.
He should
and
sue
because
them.
it's been alluded to that he has large parts, people just fans of the show just come up to him and grope him without even asking, and he's like, it's not cool.
That is not cool.
that
not cool.
happened to me.
Oh boy, please no.
Great.
All right, everyone. This has been a lovely time. I love how Jeremy can never sympathize with victims, but he always is a victim.
I can empathize.
All right. The hashtag we're out of here.
Gosh.
I don't even know how to end this
We
show
passed
tonight.
10:30, and no good happens after 10:30
It's
on
the
this show.
witching hour.
I feel like I need to tell you guys a story now.
No. Nope.
Nope. No.